I'm Mayor Bill McLeod. Welcome to the Heart of Hoffman Estates, a monthly program designed to highlight local business, nonprofit organizations, and people who help to make our community a better place to live. Did you know September is Hunger Action Month? And although Hoffman Estates is a thriving community in many ways, there are also children and families who face hunger on a regular basis. Recently, I had the chance to meet with representatives from some local food pantries to learn about their services and how, as residents, we can help our neighbors in need. In addition to learning about the impacts of hunger in our community, I also had the opportunity to meet with local students from Hoffman Estates, Schaumburg, and Palatine who have delved into the complex issue of diabetes. I think you'll find their work with the Stop Diabetes movement, a global initiative to raise awareness about diabetes and funding for diabetes research, interesting and informative. Enjoy the show. We're at the Astor Street Community Center. You want to tell us a little bit about it, Brian?
Sure. The Astor Avenue Community Center is where we house our food pantry and our welfare services division for the township. And each month about just under 750 visits are made to this pantry. And that spikes up around the holiday season, going over 1,000. And during the recession, of course, we were much busier, serving about 1,600 families. But as you can see, the pantry follows a shop and pick model so that when clients come through, they actually get to take a cart, walk the aisles, and pick the items they want to take as opposed to receiving a bag or a box of pre-sorted material. And part of that is so that they maintain the dignity of shopping and choosing the foods they want as opposed to our staff doing that for them.
Palatine Food Pantry has been around since, gosh, I can remember 30 years. It started out that we would just give bags of food to people. And what happened was Linda Fleming, the prior supervisor, was able to take some larger space within the township and develop a choice option food pantry. So what we've done is now somebody can come in like a grocery store, they can pick what they want instead of getting food that they didn't necessarily want or would throw away in the end. So it's much more efficient. It's a lot of choice. We've expanded out quite a bit with the help of YHOP, which is Youth Hunger and Opposition and Palatine. As you see here, we've got a large selection. We've got beans and soup and tuna and chili, peanut butter and jelly, all kinds of vegetables and tomatoes. One of the things we also have is we have diapers for a lot of the families that can't afford the diapers, toilet paper, all kinds of shampoo and soap, bags. We basically take everything that the community is so generous to give us, and we make sure that it gets distributed properly to those families that are in need. One of the things that we have recently noticed is that we have a lot of middle-class families now that have been coming in because they are struggling. It's this food pantry is not just for those who can't afford food ever. We have people that come in that we're able to help them stay in their home because they don't have to spend so much money on food, and they can pay for their rent or their mortgage. So we're very glad to be able to help the community in that respect. But again, without our community support, we wouldn't have this.
We serve between 500 and 700 a month. Our biggest month was 701, and that's usually around the holidays. Some of the slower months were more low 500s. A client can come once every 4 weeks to the pantry. So many of the clients are the same, but then over the holidays we often get people who are coming in who haven't before because they have larger utility bills or they have some additional expenses, and then our numbers tend to go up a little bit that time of year. When clients come here, we do a self-select pantry. So clients get 2 bags and they can fill those bags with whatever their household needs are. Many pantries do a pre-bagged program. We do not. We feel like, first of all, it gives people more dignity. Second of all, clients have different diets. We have many people who come in who can't, they need low sodium or gluten-free or vegetarian or whatever it is. And so we let people grocery shop for themselves. We don't have any limited items. They can go in there and fill their bags with just oatmeal if they want. The only thing we do ask is with eggs and milk, because I try to purchase those every week, that they just take one carton of eggs and 1/2 gallon of milk, just so we have enough for all the households. But otherwise, whatever fits in their bags, they are welcome to take.
How do you deal with, like fresh goods, vegetables, things like that? Do you have those?
We do. This community is awesome. We have a very generous community, so there's some garden clubs in the area. There are some gardeners in the area, and they bring some things in. Just today we got some cucumbers and zucchini from somebody's local garden. We get the garden clubs who also bring in things, and they do some weighing, and then they keep those records for themselves, so they now know how much they've donated. Fresh produce is always a luxury for a food pantry, and clients often, when they're on a limited income, don't have the funds to purchase those items, and so they're always thrilled to see them. Through the depository also, I can purchase some items, but then some items I can also get free of charge, and I always try to order fruits and vegetables every week, and then we put those in baskets in the pantry, and the clients can take those. So that's always nice during the summer and fall months that we can get some of those fresh produce in here.
So some of the things we have is we have fresh produce. We get that from people from their gardens, and then we get some from the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So we have fresh produce, we have canned goods, we have bread every year, or every day we have a volunteer that comes and they pick up bread. And generally the bread is not expired, but the grocery stores are ready to get rid of it, so they give it to us. So we have a big food recovery program, and we have a meat food recovery program that actually was started by one of the managers at our local Jewel on Plum Grove Road in Palatine, and we have all the meat from there too, so I can show you that. So here's our freezer with, you see there's all kinds of meat in here. There's pork, there's steak, there's chicken, and turkey. You name it, we have it, and it's all frozen, so you can keep it in your freezer for quite some time. But again, it is fresh produce. We also have eggs and milk and cheese for everybody. Yogurt, there you can see some cucumbers in there. So this is our garden. These boxes were built by one of our Eagle Scouts, and then we have volunteers that take care of all of our plants and do the watering and the picking of all the vegetables. You see we have a large variety of different vegetables here. A lot of good tomatoes you see coming up. We have spinach and lettuce and zucchinis, and it looks like some peppers back there. So in each year we do this, and we've been doing this about 3 years now. So we're very proud of our garden, and we hope to actually expand it soon.
Where do you get your food from?
That's a great question. We get our food through a combination of donations from the community, and then we also use financial donations to purchase food from the Northern Illinois Food Bank. And then we have a strong support from our merchants throughout the township, and there are several grocery stores that the township runs to each day to pick up food to help keep the pantry shelves stocked. And I'll also mention this, that our pantry is staffed completely by volunteers. No township staff are used to staff the pantry. We only use township staff to coordinate the staffing, but when residents come here, they're served by their fellow residents.
We're able to pick up large amounts of food from the Greater Chicago Food Depository, which we have a partnership with. So through all these different organizations, through the very generous support of the community, we are able to have a wonderful food pantry, which you will be seeing. So this is our food pantry. As you see, we have a wide variety of different things. We also have personal products for toiletries, and it depends on whether you're a large family, meaning a lot of kids, or if you have a smaller family, it depends on how much you can pick out. But we have our volunteers that run our food pantry, and without them, we would not be able to do this. So we're very grateful for them too.
We get our food from local community organizations. We get it from the people, individuals. We are 100% donation based, so we either get food or we get funds, and money that we get, we purchase food from the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
That's great. I think I can sort of understand what you would get from a grocery store. But what do you get from some of the local restaurants and establishments that you mentioned that you do get items from? What type of items do you get from them?
So we get Pizza Hut every week. So we get some pizzas that people didn't pick up or whatnot, and we put those in the freezer, and then a client can warm those up. We get donations every week from Panera. So we get some of their breads and their baked goods. Starbucks, same thing. We get some of their breads or baked goods. We also get their cold items, so some of their sandwiches or wraps or breakfast meals, parfaits, things like that. We even get sometimes caterers will have done an event and they didn't use up, and they'll have a whole tray of, pulled pork or whatnot, and they'll bring that in, and we can share that with our clients. The grocery stores, usually things are not pre-made like that, but even Trader Joe's will get some things, salads and whatnot, that are pre-made, and we put those in our refrigerator, and then clients can take those home with them.
It's good to see so many of these places stepping up, because in the past they just throw it away.
Yeah. Some of the local businesses like Whole Foods and Costco and Jewel, we have partnered with them. Some have organizations who find us on their behalf. So Panera and Starbucks, we work with a group, and then they kind of match up pantries or soup kitchens with these organizations. But I think it's just been brought to people's attention more and more, and so now many businesses are organizing through food pantries and soup kitchens and getting their day-old and their things that they cannot sell, but somebody can benefit from. Like I had said, the Greater Chicago Food Depository, we order food, but we also get food rescue for them. So what happens is they have a truck that goes around to some of the local grocery stores, and meat that is upon expiration, they will put in the freezer for us. And then we get that meat. So we can provide meat for our clients, which is often very expensive. The expiration date is right there, but it's been frozen since, so it's still usable and good food, but the grocery store can no longer sell it. So our clients benefit from it, and then it's also not going into landfill.
What items do you most need in the food pantry?
One of the things that we always seem to run short on are personal care, personal hygiene items. And of course, the standards of macaroni and cheese, tuna fish, just about you name it, we'll take it. And we also are always looking for some Hispanic food items as well. We do have a Hispanic population that we serve, so we like to make sure we've got a little bit of everything.
Every year the numbers they've been rising, not extremely, but we find between a couple to 20, 30 more people every month. This is my third year, and it has been consistently going up, so slight, but it has been rising. A third of our numbers are always children, so that's under 18. We look, and usually a third of our numbers are also seniors. It seems like we have people from every ethnic background and all across the age span too. It's a very diversified group that we get in here.
How often can someone come to the food pantry?
They can come twice a month, and each resident that comes through is issued a card, and then that card is tracked in our system to track their visits.
Okay. How does someone get services from the food pantry? If you're in need of services, you're in need of food, what do you do?
So a client just needs to express a need. We do not ask for a financial background when a client comes in to use the food pantry. Other financial programs that we have here at the township, a client would need to show proof of income, but the food pantry, they do not. If they express a need, they are welcome to use the pantry. We do have some clients who even have a little higher income, but they have a need. They might have large medical expenses or have a situation that occurred that they have some large bills and they aren't able to get access to food, so they are able to come in here and get some food from us. When a client comes in, they do have to show proof of living in the township. So if they are in Schaumburg Township and they express a need, they can call and make an appointment and then come visit the pantry.
If someone wanted the services of the township or the food pantry, what qualifications must they have to be serviced?
First and foremost, you have to be a resident, and then each of the other programs have specific guidelines, and that's where township staff can see whether you qualify or not. At the food pantry, the biggest qualification is that you come forward to say you need to access the food pantry.
The Township of Palatine serves a large community, a 6 mile by 6 mile area. We serve all of the village of Palatine, half of Rolling Meadows, Schaumburg, Arlington Heights, Inverness, Barrington Hills, and then a corner of the village of Hoffman Estates.
We serve portions of 6 communities. We take in all of Cook County Elgin, all of Cook County Bartlett, a portion of the village of Hanover Park, just about all of the village of Streamwood, excluding one precinct.
That's in Schaumburg Township.
That's in Schaumburg Township. We take in a couple precincts of the village of Schaumburg, and of course, I always like to say that we have a nice chunk of the village of Hoffman Estates. Most of your new development
Right.
west of Route 59 sits within Hanover Township, and then we have a nice chunk of unincorporated Cook County that we serve as well.
If someone wanted to contribute to the food pantry, what's the best way of doing it?
The best thing to do is to reach out to Hanover Township, either through our app or just call us at 630-837-0301. And we are happy to work on food drives with organizations, donations from individuals, and fundraising drives to allow us to purchase food from the Northern Illinois Food Bank.
I understand you also get food items from Panera and some other,
We do.
in addition to Jewel.
We do. Panera, Starbucks, Jewel, and several other retailers. Mariano's contributes to us. So we enjoy a very strong support from the business community. In today's food pantry, we're able to offer meat, produce when it's donated, and of course a large variety of frozen items. Just over here you can see that we have a freezer section as well as a refrigerated section. And then we also have a very large walk-in freezer here at the pantry to store meat and other frozen items, which was purchased through the joint efforts. We received a grant from the Northern Illinois Food Bank. The township capital budget gave a little bit, and then the Hanover Township Foundation raised money to purchase that.
Hi, the 5 of us took part in a diabetes research internship over the summer called Get Inspired Chicago Stop Diabetes Movement. SDM is a program that originated in India, and its goal was to reduce the rate of diabetes in India because it was soon projected to become the global capital for diabetes. We wanted to stop this projection from actually happening, so this program's mission is to look at diabetes through holistic approaches, specifically yoga, and we also want to reduce the conditions of diabetes from being severe to being normal. Get Inspired Chicago Stop Diabetes Movement is sponsored by an organization called Seva International. In Sanskrit, Seva means service beyond self, and this is a Hindu faith-based humanitarian nonprofit service organization. It focuses on family services, child, tribal, and refugee welfare, women empowerment, health, and education. Over the past 8 weeks, we have accomplished a lot. One of the most important things we had to do first and foremost was understand exactly what diabetes is. We researched conventional treatments as well as unconventional and holistic treatments. We also wanted to understand why we're doing what we're doing. So we looked into its roots. So we researched Seva International and a yoga research university in India called Vyasa, which was also partnered with SDM. We also created marketing material to promote SDM around our area and spread the message across our community through visiting mayors, other health professionals, communicating with other ordinary citizens, etc. And we ultimately, at the end, identified a target audience and presented our findings after compiling all of our data. And our goal was to inspire the audience to take this epidemic more seriously and change their lifestyles and adjust in order to reduce their risks of developing diabetes. We had a final group presentation at the very end in which we presented to SDM and Seva International so they could see what we have accomplished over the past 8 weeks as well.
Over the course of the past 8 weeks, we put out a survey to the public, and we've met with an endocrinologist and nutritionalist. They help us learn more about prevention methods for diabetes. Along with that, we met with a yoga teacher who helped us learn different yoga poses to help us secrete more insulin in our pancreas. We also met with the mayor to share our findings of diabetes prevention and spread awareness. Along with that, we looked at different aspects of diabetes, such as social, economic, and medical.
So in the United States, the cost of diabetes has tripled over the past few years, and the number of patients has doubled. And while we've made scientific breakthroughs over these years, we still haven't found a cure for this, and it's actually increasing at an alarming rate, which is why we sought after holistic methods.
What is diabetes? Diabetes is a disease that affects over 29 million Americans and over 380 million people globally. There are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. In type 1, our bodies cannot produce enough insulin to support our organs and body systems. In type 2, our body can produce this insulin but can't use it effectively to support our bodies.
So some symptoms of diabetes include frequent urination, dry and itchy skin, and fatigue. However, some people don't experience these symptoms, and the only way to know for sure if you have diabetes is to take a blood sugar test. So the exact cause of type 1 diabetes is unknown, but it is when there is no insulin or little insulin. And people are genetically predisposed to diabetes, and it occurs most commonly in infants. Type 2 diabetes can be caused by a variety of factors, such as stress, lack of physical exercise, and lack of a proper diet.
So now that we have explored the medical lens for diabetes, we decided to then explore the holistic lenses for diabetes. There are many natural alternative treatments, which include yoga and meditation, Ayurveda, homeopathy, other spiritual methods, and massages. One of the most effective methods among these is yoga. Regular yoga practice helps reduce the level of sugar in the blood, along with lowering blood pressure, regulating weight, triggering insulin action, reducing symptoms, and overall slowing the rate of progression of diabetes. One of the most common causes for diabetes is stress, and yoga is the most effective way of reducing stress. There are various types of yoga that people can perform, but some are more difficult than others due to the different genetics that people have, including weight. And so one kind that everybody can do, regardless of hereditary factors, is pranayama, which is breathing yoga. One of the best types of pranayama is when you take your thumb and you cover your right nostril and you inhale through your left nostril. You then cover your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril. Then you inhale through your right nostril, cover it, exhale through your left nostril. Then you inhale, cover it, exhale through your right nostril, and you keep this going. People who do this every night before going to sleep are more likely to not develop diabetes because this practice produces movement in the body, which then helps secrete insulin from the pancreas.
So food is a very important aspect in both a diabetic's and a pre-diabetic's life. So a diet should consist of nutrient-dense foods. That includes good carbs, such as avoiding sugars and consuming more starches, and consuming good fats, such as unsaturated fats, and avoiding trans fats and saturated fats. And fiber is always a good addition because it helps with digestion. And exercise can have a variety of benefits. Most doctors recommend 30 minutes of exercise for 5 days a week. And this exercise can consist of whatever you like to do, such as riding your bike or taking a swim or even just walking. And that also can raise dopamine levels, and that makes you happier and can reduce risks of diabetes.
So another aspect we looked at for diabetes are social aspects. The first factor of social aspects are race. Some races have a higher likelihood of developing diabetes because of something called a thrifty gene. This thrifty gene has been passed from generation to generation. A thrifty gene is when your body stores fat for potential famines. This means it's harder to get rid of that fat or burn it during exercise or physical activity.
So another major social complication that influences diabetes is one's level of education. Without the proper health education, they are less likely to make the correct food choices and thus have a higher chance of developing the disease. As statistics show, the prevalence rate of diabetes increases drastically as the education rate decreases.
Another factor of social aspects is your age. The older you get, the more likely you are to develop diabetes. This is because as you get older, you lack physical exercises, but your average intake of calories doesn't change, so it's not balanced.
Statistics also show us that gender has a role in diabetes. Men are more likely to contract the disease, however, scientists have still not found a true reason.
So after learning all of this, the next step was to spread awareness across our community and spreading the message to friends, family, and as many people as possible. One of our methods of doing this was visiting mayors. We visited the mayors of Palatine and Hoffman estates, and we presented all of our material to them. And they are a huge influencing factor across these local towns, so they were able to help us with awareness. Another method we decided to use was creating a survey. We used social media as our platform, and we sent this survey to various friends, family, relatives, etc., in order to get their responses. In all, we received over 100 responses, and our questions included ones such as, how much do you think you know about diabetes? How much do you think your family knows about diabetes? How difficult do you believe it is to live with the disease? How willing would you be to adjust your lifestyle to prevent this disease? And how often you eat out, exercise, etc. So we wanted to see how aware people already are about diabetes, and through this survey, our goal was to make people even more aware, and we succeeded in that aspect, and we learned a lot about our friends and family and how they feel about this condition through this survey.
On August 14th, we met and collaborated with other SDM and SEWA groups who shared the same goals as us. We shared and compared our progress over the 8 weeks we interned over the summer and learned valuable information. Hopefully this presentation has increased your awareness on diabetes and has inspired you to take action to improve your health and help improve our communities in the long run.
For more information, or if you have any questions, feel free to send an email to sewachicago@sewausa.org. That's SEWACHICAGO@SEWAUSA.org.
SDM out.